I was visiting my friend Eleanor last week. She's 72, lives alone, and honestly, she's thriving in ways that surprised me. As I watched her putter around her cozy apartment, making tea exactly how she likes it, playing her favorite jazz records without asking anyone's opinion, it struck me. There's a quiet joy to living alone that we don't talk about enough. Maybe you've had friends or family express concern. Don't you get lonely? Or are you sure you're safe by yourself? And while those questions come from love, today I want to share the other side of the story. Because after interviewing dozens of seniors like Eleanor, I've discovered 9 beautiful benefits to living alone that might just make you appreciate your independence in a whole new way. Let's start with the first 3. The first benefit is something Eleanor calls the gift of complete self-determination. Imagine this: no compromising on what's for dinner, no negotiating the thermostat, no adjusting your schedule to accommodate someone else's habits. After years of caring for others, whether children, spouses, or aging parents, this total control over your daily life can feel incredibly freeing. One of Eleanor's favorite rituals, she keeps breakfast for dinner nights whenever she wants. At my age, she told me, if I feel like having pancakes at 7 p.m. with extra maple syrup, who's going to stop me? That might sound small, but there's real power in making choices, even silly ones, entirely for yourself. Now, the second benefit surprised me when I first heard it. Better sleep. So many seniors tell me they sleep more soundly alone. No competing snoring rhythms. No worrying about disturbing a partner when you get up to use the bathroom. You can arrange your bedroom exactly as you like. Extra pillows, the perfect blanket weight, complete darkness, or a nightlight, without compromise. My neighbor, Frank, who's 78, swears he started sleeping through the night for the first time, in decades after his wife passed. Turns out, he told me with a chuckle, I wasn't the one snoring after all. More importantly, that uninterrupted sleep leaves him feeling more energetic during the day. The third benefit is what I call rediscovering your own rhythm. When you live alone, your days can unfold at the pace that suits you best. Feel like lingering over the newspaper all morning? Go ahead. Want to eat lunch at 11 a.m. or 2 p.m.? Your choice. This natural flow can be especially valuable as we age and our energy levels change throughout the day. Eleanor describes her perfect Saturday. I wake when I'm rested, putter in my garden until the sun gets too hot, take a nap if I feel like it, and stay up late reading when I'm engrossed in a book. That kind of intuitive scheduling isn't just pleasant. It's actually good for your health, reducing stress on your body's systems. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. But what about loneliness? What about safety? Those are important questions too, and we'll absolutely talk about them. But first, I want you to consider how many small joys might already be present in your independent life, the peaceful moments we often overlook because society tells us we're supposed to want constant companionship. Because the benefits we've touched on so far, complete autonomy, better sleep, and living at your natural rhythm, they're just the beginning. There are even more surprising advantages to explore. When I was talking with Eleanor about her life alone, she said something that really stuck with me. People assume I must be lonely, but what they don't realize is how much richer my relationships have become. That brings us to our fourth benefit, and it might surprise you: deeper friendships. When you live alone, your social interactions become more intentional. There's no default companionship, so you learn to really nurture the connections that matter. Take my friend Martin, 81, who hosts a weekly Thinking Man's Lunch with 3 close friends. They debate everything from politics to philosophy, and he says these conversations are more stimulating than any he had during his 45-year marriage. When you're not responsible for someone else's daily needs, he told me, you have more emotional energy to invest in friendships. This leads beautifully into the 5th benefit: rediscovering yourself. After years of being someone's spouse, parent, or caregiver, living alone gives you the space to ask, who am I now? What do I truly enjoy? Margaret, a 76-year-old widow, told me she recently took up oil painting, something her husband would have called a messy waste of time. She laughed as she showed me her colorful, imperfect canvases. Turns out, I love making messes. There's something profoundly liberating about decorating your space exactly to your taste, keeping whatever odd hours suit you, and pursuing interests without explanation or apology. One gentleman I met, 79-year-old Carl, has his entire living room arranged around his model train collection, something his wife never would have allowed. It's not just about the trains, he told me. It's about finally honoring all the little parts of myself I put aside for decades. Now, the sixth benefit is one many don't anticipate: increased self-reliance and confidence. When you know you can handle life alone, paying bills, fixing small household issues, making decisions, it changes how you move through the world. Sarah, who moved into her own apartment after her divorce at 68, described the moment she successfully unclogged her kitchen sink. I felt like Wonder Woman. At my age, still learning I can handle things myself, that's powerful medicine. This growing confidence often leads to what I call the competence cascade. When you prove to yourself you can manage one challenge, you're more willing to try others. I've seen this with so many seniors. They start with small victories like learning to video call grandchildren, then soon they're taking solo trips or auditing college classes. What's fascinating is how these three benefits build on each other. As you rediscover yourself, benefit 5, you attract more meaningful friendships, benefit 4. As you gain confidence in your capabilities, benefit 6, you're more willing to explore new aspects of yourself. It's a beautiful upward spiral that many seniors never anticipate when they first find themselves living alone. But we're not done yet. There are 3 more remarkable advantages to explore, including one that might completely change how you view your alone time. I'll never forget the day my 84-year-old neighbor Ruth taught me what she calls the art of delicious solitude. She invited me over for tea, and as I watched her move gracefully around her apartment, adjusting the sunlight just so, selecting her favorite china with care, it struck me. There's an elegance to living alone that we rarely celebrate. That brings us to our 7th benefit: the luxury of uninterrupted quiet. In a world that never stops buzzing, having complete control over your soundscape is an underrated gift. No blaring TVs, no unwanted small talk, just the peaceful sounds you choose, whether that's birdsong in the morning or Billie Holiday in the evening. Tom, a retired teacher, told me he spends his mornings in what he calls sacred silence, drinking his coffee while watching the sunrise. For 40 years, my classroom was noisy, he said. Now I'm making up for lost quiet. This leads perfectly into our 8th benefit: financial transparency and control. When you live alone, every financial decision is yours. No negotiating over spending priorities, no compromising on household budgets. Martha, a 79-year-old who left an unhappy marriage later in life, described the revelation of managing her own money. For the first time, I could splurge on good wool yarn for knitting, without guilt, or choose the cheaper grocery brand without argument. It's not about the amount, it's about the autonomy. Now, the 9th benefit might be the most profound: space for reflection and growth. There's something about living alone that allows for deeper self-discovery. Without the mirror of another person's expectations, you're free to evolve in unexpected ways. I think of my friend Leonard, who at 80 began writing poetry for the first time. I'd never have tried this with someone looking over my shoulder, he confessed, but alone, I can be as bad as I need to be while learning. What's beautiful is how all 9 benefits we've discussed work together. The practical joys, like sleeping well and managing finances, give you energy. The emotional benefits, like self-discovery and deeper friendships, give you meaning. The simple pleasures, like quiet mornings and pancake dinners, give you daily happiness. Well, I know living alone isn't always easy. There are real challenges we haven't addressed yet, like safety concerns or those days when loneliness creeps in. But here's what Eleanor told me that changed everything. This isn't about being alone versus being with others. It's about making your current situation work beautifully for you. So if you're living alone, I encourage you to try this. Tonight, do one small thing that celebrates your independence. Maybe eat dessert first. Maybe dance in your living room to music from your youth. Or maybe just sit in grateful silence, appreciating your own company. Because here's the truth I've learned from all the Eleanors and Martins and Ruths out there. There's a special kind of courage in embracing solo living, not as a consolation prize, but as a chapter full of its own unique gifts. I'd love to hear from you. What's your favorite part about living alone? Or, if you're considering it, what questions do you have? Share in the comments below. And if this resonated with you, hit that like button. It helps others find this conversation. Here's to writing your next chapter exactly how you want it.